Hello, everybody. Hello. Throw new error. You're so nice to say that. You're so nice. Hi, everybody. Hi, how's it going today? I see. Oh, you can see some of my little stuff here. I'm just gonna. Oh no, that needs to go away. Oops. Let's just hide that stuff down here. Boop. There we go. Awesome. Well, I'm super glad that you like this topic, Kevin. By the way, I set up Firebot over the week, and I'm very excited about it. But I'm kind of bummed because I was supposed to pop something up when certain people come in, and it's super sarcastic and funny. But Kevin ruined it by talking before I was in this screen. So anyhow, hello. So today we're going to talk about stuff. I got super excited about this yesterday, and I really got into it. Now, I will say this: it is, yeah, I don't know. Leave and come back, Kevin, and say something, and I'll wait. I won't talk because there's and if Corey's here, then maybe Corey can talk too. There's a couple of folks that I added, and I'll add more. I'll add some of my favorites. It's like my kids, right? I think you were already in the stream, so I don't think it matters. I don't think it's something that I can I can do this now. But I was supposed to pop something up, but whatever, it doesn't matter. All right. Anyways, next time I'll show up fast. Yes, do that, Kevin. Quit ruining my stream, Kev. No, just kidding, Kev. You're the backbone of this stream. You really are. You really are. Anyways, I got a follow in the thing from my Mark JS Zamansky. Thanks for the follow. I don't know if you're watching or if you're just following along, but whatever. Appreciate you either way. So, okay, all right, today, enough of my shenaniganery. We're going to talk about block bindings. So everyone knows about block bindings, I think, right? They were released in 6.5. And so in 6.6 and moving forward, there's some more cool things. I don't know if you saw this, not that, where am I here? So if we go to the developer blog, I'm going to be dropping links at you. So in this What's New for Developers, we got some stuff around block bindings, and block bindings are pretty darn cool. So I don't know if you can see this. This is connected here via this little box here, right? So this is an example that I set up, and it's basically just connecting this to a piece of pretend, well, real post meta, right? But one of the cool things about it, it's now you can actually edit the bound values. Now that only works in 6.6, and it only works for, there he is, Mark JS Zamansky, good to see you. So this just indicates that you've actually, hey, Justin's here too, Justin Tadlock, welcome to the stream. Now I'm nervous because Justin's here. Anyway, so block bindings can do some pretty cool things. So what I have is a there's a lot going on here. So I built this little tool that is going to allow me to I broke it already. Okay, let's do that again. I have to fix this. But basically I've set up some stuff in here, right? So what I have now is, so when you connect this binding, when you create a binding, Firebot would like to access files in my documents folder. I'm going to say, okay. What the deuce? There you go. What the deuce? Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of new things, new channel redemption stuff. I added one that's probably going to be a horrible idea, but you can actually turn my lights off, and then I'll yell at you. But speaking of lights, I got to fix this one. Oh, who did that? Of course Kevin did that. Of course Kevin did that. Now I gotta fix my light. One sec. There we go. Yeah. So there we go. So you can do that. I think I've limited it to like once per stream. I can't remember now. But anyways, fun stuff, right? Who cares? Whatever. It's all good. So anyway, so now we've got this binding. So this is just indicating that this piece of information is actually bound post meta. I'm already regretting this. So what I can do now is, if I open up my preferences and I show my custom fields, I'm going to show and reload this page. Oh, wait, okay, hold on. it's done by. Let me save this, and then I'm going to do this. Preferences, custom fields, show and reload the page. You can see I've got, save this, I'll refresh. I should have another piece of post meta in here. I do. So I have this binding that I created. It's called string binding, and that's the message from metadata. So now we've got this one-to-one relationship between a simple post meta. And if we look at the code for that, you can see that all I'm doing here is I just registered a piece of post meta right here. Register post meta to the post type of post. And see how many times I can say post in a sentence. Post, right? So that's what that is doing. So that's pretty straightforward. And so we saw the default message come through. Really, really cool stuff, right? So that's kind of what we have. That's the connection part, as in knowing that the information is coming from Meta is possible to set this up now without 6.5. So my setup here is I've actually got I've got a plugin that I wrote. I've got Gutenberg activated at 18.5, and 18.5 has got those new things. But if I were to turn that off, we wouldn't have the bindings box anymore. But what we would we would still be able to this is it. It would still connect. And the way that it actually connects is via adding in this chunk of doodadery right there. I don't know if you can see that. I'll zoom in a little bit. But we have to manually add that. And we still have to manually add that at this point too. So, but what I did was I wrote a little helper for today that basically is adding that, but it allows me to switch between a bunch of different. I can show you the code for that. So in here I've got my thing in here. What I'm doing is I've basically got a select control, and that select control is going to create some options for different binding resources, whatever the word is for that. Basically a custom binding. So the one that comes with core is core/post meta. That's the one that you would use for regular stuff. And I've been playing around with adding one for pods and adding one for ACF, which works, but doesn't really work. The editing part, it doesn't work, which is kind of a bummer. Because we want that. So I got into a bit of unlocking things I probably shouldn't unlock, and using a lot of like experimental stuff, so we can get into all that. So I think at this point I'll just maybe get into it again, but I don't know, does what I'm saying make sense to everyone? Does anyone have any questions about this ridiculousness? Chat got real quiet, so I don't know if I'm just like rambling and nobody gets it or what. Yeah. Okay, cool. Anyways, well, so what I'm going to do then, so this is really, really awesome, right? So like what I can do, let's do it. All right. So what we want to be able to do, and we can do this now with native post meta, which is what I'm calling this binding source. This is message saved to post meta. Now we can do this with a custom block too, right? And we've done that a ton on the stream before, where we have a custom block, we insert like a rich text field. That rich text field then writes to post meta and stuff, right? So they can bind to post meta just when they need. Yes, throw a new error. There are some caveats around this. Not every block supports this yet. So what we can do, and Nick, Diego, and I just did a synced patterns developer hours, which I don't know, it might be on YouTube. I can check. I think it should be on the WordPress. Is this actually a thing? There it is. So if we go into developer hours, oh yeah. Whoa, sorry, audio. So this is the one that we talked about, where Nick gets into this sort of stuff. Yeah, so it's on YouTube, but there's very specific blocks that can handle block bindings at this point. For example, the paragraph block, the heading block, the button block, and the image block. Those are the only core blocks that currently support mapping that support bindings. So if you're not familiar with block bindings or any of that sort of stuff, Justin, who's on the stream, has written a ton of stuff about it. There is some really, really good articles on the developer blog, which I'm going to drop into chat right now. Go and check that out. So like the connecting custom fields thing. Oh, Terrence is here. Hi, Terrence. Oh, Terrence, I should have added you to my little thing. Anyways, so these are where you should go. So I would go and read the part one. So part one kind of lays out the blog. I think there is current limitations and features of blog. Okay, yes. So these are the supported blocks. So and these are the attributes that they support, right? Disappointed. Yeah. Well, you know what, Terrence? Image block supports the attributes of URL, alt, and title, paragraph content, heading content, button, URL, text line, blah, 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 right? So what it looks like is, here's a good example here of Justin's stuff. Maybe I'll do that in a little bit. Yeah, I know. I wish I was at WordCamp EU. So next time, my friend, next time. So all we do is we add a metadata object with bindings, and then we say which of the attributes for that particular block we're going to bind something to. And so we say URL. So the source is going to be the type of binding. So for the majority of what we're doing, it's going to be core/post meta, because that's really the only binding that's available, unless you make a custom binding, which we can talk about later. And then you want the key of the post meta. The key of the post meta will be bound to this value, and so on and so forth, right? So that's, in a nutshell, that's how that works. And every time I say in a nutshell, I don't know if it's because I'm of a certain age. I have this certain scene from Austin Powers. You guys know the movie Austin Powers, where he's like, "This is me in a nutshell." But I don't know why I just did this, which is probably going to get clipped and turned into horrible things. Oh. Thanks for the sub, Scott Clark. Hey, Scotty. How's it going? Scott Clark, I'm so glad you're here, because I was just working on pod stuff, and I was just segueing into it, and I feel like I might be doing it wrong a little bit. But so I'm so glad that you're here, and we can chat about this after. This makes more sense, but I really think it'd be really cool to be able to like get you working with some bindings and stuff. Anyways, if you're not familiar with Scott, he is the man behind pods. So yeah. I need big names. I got Kevin. Yeah. So this is great. This is so cool. So cool. Anyways, okay, cool, awesome. So let me just kind of get into what we're doing. So this is kind of the basis of block bindings. We kind of talked about it a little bit, right? I kind of showed what we have going on here. I have this little helper tool thing, right? So what I'm going to do now is kind of take you through creating a custom one. So this is my regular stuff. So I'm going to create a block. This is a block binding for pods, and I think it's spelled that way. P, just like regular sentence case. It's not all right. So what we're going to do is I'm giving it a name. I'm calling it Twitch/pods. You can call it whatever you want, right? It's going to be a label for it. We're going to callback value. The callback value is going to basically handle how it returns the stuff, the data, right? And then we want to pass some context. In my case, we want to be able to get the post ID and everything, right? So if I just do this, it'll work just fine. So what I can do is over here, I'm going to, let me just, sorry, I don't think I'm building. I'm not. Okay, start. I'm just going to detach some of my stuff here. I'm going to do this for now. This should just kind of show us how regular binding with block binding selector. Okay, yeah. All right, so if I refresh this. Oh, you did? Oh, sweet. That's awesome. I didn't see that. I was poking through your code yesterday. This is great. This is so cool. I have taken it an extra step, and I've made it so we can edit now. And I'll get into that. Yeah, stream's over. Bye-bye. But so this part's pretty straightforward to do, right? Which is really great. I just don't know the framework that well, or as well, to make sure I'm doing it right. But basically what I set up was this. So we have, so let's just see, this should be working. So I can switch this now. I'm going to switch this to the pod string and set my thing to pods, and to pods. And we can save this. I'll refresh it. Right? Did I break it? Did I break it? I might have broke it. Stand by. I think I mangled that. So, okay, let me just put in a new one here. I should just be able to delete this. And I'm gonna pick the pod string and I'm gonna pick the pods thing. So, okay, so this is sort of what we want, right? So this is right, okay. So the way it works now is there's nothing in there because I had nothing in there. So what I'm going to try to demonstrate this a little bit. This I'll call this placeholder for now, right? I'm sure Scott's going, what are you doing? But just bear with me. So I placehold deer because that's how you spell it in Canada. And it should be connected to this pod string. And when I look at it in another thing, you can see that's my actual pods message. So you can see it. I'll show you down here, right? So preferences, we got more fields. This is coming in from pods. So you can see I got, this is the default pods message, right? I'll save this and I'll, if I find the thing again, I'll refresh it. So it's outputting the message and that's great. That's awesome. So what I did, this is really rough and I'm sure Scott will have lots to say about this, but basically in my binding, yes, you can't preview for live third-party stuff yet. It's all locked behind the thing, but I have it working for pods, and I haven't started on the ACF yet. But Liam G from ACF. Oh man, we got the big hitters here, heavy hitters. So this is great. I actually unlocked the APIs so we can see how that's going to work. So I think it's a great example of what can come. Now this whole stream is experimental. I'm quite literally running like 18.5. There is an 18.6 release candidate for Gutenberg that fixes a bug. Like right now, if you return like number data, it will actually truncate the first number off, which is really weird. But there's a fix for that. So there's some bugs that's been fixed, but it's in the Gutenberg release candidate, which I think came out yesterday. So anyway, so I'm just basically grabbing my post ID, my post type. I have a pod field that's going to be called. That's going to basically be called the post type, and then a post ID. Scott, tell me if I'm doing this wrong. Get pod stuff, right? And then basically, and now all I'm doing down here is just basically just returning the field. You should definitely have some more, better code like this. I'd probably put it inside of a switch statement like I have down here for all of this stuff, but field should be display. So, but I just want the data to be returned, right? Like that's, like I don't want, okay. So if it's display, will it wrap? This is what I was unsure about, whether or not display wrapped, like if it created like the way it would look in the front end, right? For currency field, it will return that flow. Oh, I get it. Okay, so let's just see what this looks like. So looks functionally the same. Okay. Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, I get it now. Okay, cool. Well, that's really good to know. So so down in here, I should be using like display and everything, right? No HTML from except file blocks or blah, blah, blah. Okay, awesome. Well, thanks for that. Thanks for walking this noob through it. But anyway, so that's how you register just a thing. Basically, you have to set up how it returns data, right? How you're going to handle updating a value that might be stored differently for how it's displayed. Still not sure I've seen a good case of that yet. That's a good point. Okay, so this is totally pretty standard stuff. Oh, some cheap viewers. Somebody blocked that dude. Whoever that person is. So what I have done now at this point, I feel like you two are already ahead of the game. So the rest of you come with me on a journey. So what I've done is I've looked at like basically how we're generating block binding. So I have a pods binding here that I've set up. And I stole this directly from Core, like directly from here, pretty much. Well, this is exactly where it's from. This is where the URL is from, right? And I've changed some things. So the way that I got it working with pods is we got a placeholder. This is how it returns a value. And then in here, the only way that I could get it working is by calling pods dfv API, setting the field value and doing it that way. And when I turn this back on, we should, so what I'm doing is I'm unlocking this register block binding source. The unlocking process is something that you have to do. It's basically this is how you do it. I wouldn't recommend this. This with great power comes great responsibility. Messing around with locked things are a recipe for disaster if you try to push them to production and expect them to work in the next iteration. But for what we're doing today, this is totally fine. So I've registered my block binding. The word is eluding me. Definition is in here. We've got a name, we've got a label, we've got a get value, a set value, and this is basically permissions around whether or not the person can use it. So my build should be running. So if I have this set now, I should be able to refresh this. Now does this work? Hey, yes it does, right? So now it's writing directly to here. And if I come back over here, I should, so now it's actually using the pod's name up here, right? That I defined it wherever here, right? So instead of this name, it's got a proper label. So that is how that works. We should push to get those APIs open though. I'm sure we can work together on that for 6.7. I think people are pushing hard for it. They're working hard on it. I know that Gutenberg has a lot of work being done. I always default to that pull request, but if you look at the issues and the milestones, like 18.6, everything's closed. It's basically ready to go. But there's like block bindings. There was a bunch of block binding stuff. Block bindings, change title, add description, I don't know when it's going to be ready for prime time. I'd imagine 6.7, and I think it's a huge win for everybody, including like for you two guys and your frameworks. It's a huge win, right? And for developers in general. But yeah, so this is basically what we got to do. And so now for us to do this with ACF, it's basically the same. Well, let me stop. Does anyone have any questions about? Well, let me ask you this, Scott. Is this the appropriate way of doing this? I noticed that there's a store. There's a Redux store. So in Redux, if I look in here, there is a Redux store here, and I couldn't find an easy way of getting access to it. Because it would be very, very cool. That's the pods to work with. That's for the work with the config. This store is. So the API that I'm calling on the window object interacts with this store. Is that the deal? Okay. Because what would be super cool, and this is just one guy's opinion, is to be able to call it similar to this. So in our registry, we can select a specific data store and then we can edit that directly. That would be very cool. Because this feels a little bit, I feel like there's probably some side effects here that I'm not fully understanding what's going on. Like, you know what I mean? Because if we can call this from inside a store, I don't know, you know, just my 2 cents. Like if you compare it against what's going on in here, this is just a registry call, right? Yeah, it does work, and that's how I'm updating the message. But I'm wondering, I just couldn't find, is there like a store that's registered? There is a store that's registered. It's right here. That's not a really easy way of getting access to it. Like, it would be awesome if there was a helper that said, here's the store name. Because that would be very, 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 very cool. Because that's actually the name of the store right there, and that's going to be impossible to figure out as a dev. I think I probably just don't know the API well enough. So please take whatever I'm saying with a grain of salt. But that's cool. Yeah, I'm not sure how you get details about that store at the moment. We opted to make an API interacting with everything. I think that makes sense. I think having that API absolutely makes sense. But if you're already in a state where you're kind of talking with registries and stuff like that, it would be cool to be able just to do something similar to this. Like, you could do, like, I don't know, registry dot dispatch, right? And then you could do like whatever, like pods, and then be like, set value. Something like that would be very cool. Right? Because people are already doing the registry, because then once you're in this as well, I think if you have to yield or do multiple things, like, I'm not sure, this feels I'm not passing any judgment here at all. I just, it would be cool to be able to get, so like if you registered a store, this is just my 2 cents. This is, if you registered a store that was like, called pods or something, you could do something like select, you can get pods, right? And then you could add a selector. God, if I could type that like get stores or something, right? And then you can get all the registers stored for each pod and all that stuff, and then you can pass that into each individual call, blah 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 blah. Anyways, just an idea that you're welcome to ignore, because you probably know more about, I'm sure you know more about this than I do. So anyways, cool. So so that's kind of in place. So I thought maybe we try to do an ACF one now. And so to do that, I'm gonna need to set some ACF things. I gotta go on the stall plugins. I got activate this. Excuse me. So ACF, I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, I already have some stuff here. What is this? ACF tests. Sure, post. What's this in here? It's a date picker. If I just add a field to it, we're gonna do it. This is going to be a paragraph content. Yep. Default value is ACF default content. By the way, I just have to say thank you, Scott and Liam, for hanging out today. And you guys absolutely don't have to do this, and I think it's so cool that you did. So thank you. And if there's any way that I can, help with this stuff, with your development, like, not that I'll write any of the code, because God knows you don't want me writing the code, but help facilitate talking to people or anything, let me know, because I think this is one way that the community can all kind of like come together and be good. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, so let's go to my post now. I'll post. Let's go in here now. If I open this up, boop, and we got ACF. Okay, I'm gonna turn the more fields off so I don't get confused. Yeah, this is gonna be great, because as this progresses, so does synced patterns and all that stuff. Like, it's going to be great. It's going to be so cool. And then as soon as you can register the JavaScript end of things, which is what we're doing with the unlock stuff, it's going to be amazing. Like, amazing. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to add another paragraph, and I've done this thing where I've got ACF, right? And I've got, I have to add this string. I have to add in here. So this is just a silly little helper that I built so I can quickly switch between this stuff. So what did I call that thing? It's called paragraph content. I think that's what I called it. So I'm just going to do this. So this is going to be, we'll call this ACF string. And the order of operations here is no reflection on how much I love and respect you two. In fact, I think ACF is up top there and pods is here. So now you're equal. and you're always be equal in my. Oh, what am I saying? Paragraph content, I think. We'll fight to the death. Oh, nice. Fight to the death. To enter. Oh, that's horrible. I shouldn't do that voice. Sorry. Anyways, okay. So I think that's what I called it. But let me just field groups. Okay, hold on. Save. Oh, you guys, I'm sure like, oh my God, Ryan, you're so painful. Paragraph content. That's what I'm gonna call it. Okay, cool. Compare is listen about active install count. Oh, that looks like. What's it? Whoa, what is this? Holy smokes! What is this? All fields related stuff? This is so cool. I didn't know that this exists. Yeah, sure. That's cool. Very nice. A lot of plugins that do content. Yeah, there is. I mean, and can you imagine how amazing it would be once we have a unified approach? Like, I wonder how much. Actually, here's a question for you two. How much code do you think having a unified approach will allow you? Like, how much code? How many of your pull requests will be all read? And like, to get rid of so much custom code to just start using a unified approach. I can imagine you're gonna have a ton of pull requests that map things to things, right? Because everyone's kind of done things a bit differently. But I'd be really interested to see like just how much code you're able to remove once things are unified. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. So let's go back to my posts. We'll go here, custom block binding. So Liam, do you say that you've already done what I'm about to do? Is that accurate? ACF. Like you've already put in. We have a binding source. Okay, so you have the binding source, the PHP side, right? Okay, cool. So we have the PHP side. That's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, fantastic. So you're registering your binding source. Okay, cool. I didn't know this, but you can actually pass context to this as well. So you can get the post ID and the post post type and stuff. So I don't know if that's helpful, but you can pass this line to it, right? Like evil unlock. Yeah. So the evil unlock stuff it's fun, but it's with great power, all that stuff. Anyways, what was I doing here? Okay, cool. So now we've got this ACF. I'm going to say ACF string. So if I save this now and I view this, we should get nothing. We should get nothing. What have I done wrong here? So we should have that default message. I may have just done something silly. Hold on. So it's in there. Twitch. Oh, because I haven't registered it yet. Duh. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Right. So I'm now registering my ACF. This is going to be called advanced custom fields. Right. And this is going to be, okay, pass all that stuff in here. So I'm going to need a new function called Twitch user data. This is going to be ACF data bindings. Yeah, I think it's fin. Yeah, me too. So cool. What's Scott saying? The pods pass content. More dynamic content features and page builders need to provide context, but they don't. Yeah, I know. I think this context, I believe, comes from the block. So as long as the block that you're using has that context, which most I think do, then you should be good to go. So I'm just gonna hide this just for the sake of function, and then we get the source args, and then we get block instance, and then we're gonna do this, and then what did I do in here? Okay, so I'm just gonna pull this stuff for now, and now I need to get the field, get the ACF field. Field. So let me just, I'm just gonna look at how you're doing that in here. Get field. So that's basically what we want to do. Get source field, right? So we're gonna do this, and then it's gonna be etched. So you're doing exactly what I'm doing here. Source args. Right, and we'll just do this, and we'll do this, right? And then I'm going to just what is this? What? Why are you being stupid? What? Oh, there we go. Okay, so and then I'm just gonna do oh wait, do I need to worry about this stuff? I'm just going to return it because I'm a lazy developer, but I just want to make sure that it's working, because in my very contrived setup, we should just have this working a-okay. Yeah. So this is, don't do this. I'm just going to write this. Don't do this. Like, check for things and be better. And be better. Okay, so I think now that I have this, I think that's all I have to do. I should be able to come back over here now, and I should be able to refresh this, and there we go. So now we got. So now we're outputting on the front end, but there's nothing in here. So before we have access to the, this is going to be ACF placeholder. So there's no, without having the sort of the data. The JavaScript portion, there's no way of having it pull in sort of like the default data, right? So when it looks like it, so it's going to say ACF placeholder on this side, but on the front end, it's going to have the actual message in here, but we still have to come in here and we have to actually update that, right? So now let's look at registering another binding. So I'm just going to copy my pods binding. And I call it ACF binding. All right, we're going to do this. So the ACF binding, we'll start just changing this to, I'm going to say advanced. I'm just going to call it ACF for the sake of brevity here. And it's going to be ACF, boom. Okay, so this, I think might work. This will not work. We need to do that a different way. So what I'm going to do, so this should return the key. This should return... This, I think, has to be pulled from, I'm not sure where this is going to pull from, because in meta, and maybe, so in the meta version, it's calling it basically like this. It's calling it like that, right? So meta dot blah, 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 blah. Now, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is going to be ACF. I think, Liam, maybe you can tell me. I think that's going to be ACF, like that. So that hopefully will pull the value. Now we need to write back to it. Now I actually have a bit of code. It's okay. We'll figure it. I know that when ACF returns in the REST API, there is a display meta. Yeah, so if we look in our display meta, I know that it actually comes in as ACF because we use it as a we can use entity prop to pull ACF, so I'm assuming that we can also get that. So when we write back though, we're going to need to write back in a different way, and maybe this is something that let's set ACF types. What does that do? Is this a function I wrote? There's a good chance. Right. I think in my demo I do evil bridging from the inputs to the legacy metabar. Okay, so let's just see if that pulls it. Let's just see what that does. So anyways, so back in here, so we've got this. This isn't going to do anything yet. So I might just put in the original back from there. That's probably not going to work, but we'll see. So this is going to how we pull this. Right, so the post type, the context, so meta. Maybe we can just do that. I don't think that's going to work because I don't know if it maps, right? So what does it say, by the way? Fine for text. I think I lost my connection there. Sorry. Okay, but I mentioned in 6.4 you'll be able to call our store to get and update values and handle the inputs from there, kind of like Scott's API but React. Okay, cool. So that's how you would do that then. What's the active version now of ACF? I just updated the plugin last night. 6.3. Okay, cool. So that's super good to know. Why is my teleprompter not standby? I don't know what's going on here. So dumb. Sorry, I'm gonna quit this because I'm keep losing my chat. It's annoying. I'm gonna just put chat up here now. Just gonna do that. I don't know why that's not working. Okay, cool, awesome. Okay. Oh, we got someone. Oh, somebody from. I mentioned ACF. You'll be able to call our. Sorry, things are falling apart here. I gotta do this a different way. Okay, I can switch over here. Bear with me for 1 second, my friends. Okay, let's try that. All right, now chat is good. Okay, sorry. Okay, cool. Where was I? What was I talking about here? All right, so we still gotta register. So now we've got this kind of rough. So I'm going to import this. Oh, did I? It's just default export. Yeah. So in here, I'm going to import ACF binding from ACF binding. I'm going to then register another source called ACF binding, right? So this should handle some of the JavaScript stuff. Oh, Mykola Lukin from YouTube is asking about Gutenberg standalone instances. I think that's a pretty cool idea. But good idea for another stream. So maybe we'll get into that later. Cool. So now let's just see what happens. I'll refresh this. With a little luck, nothing is completely broken. And let's. Oh, is that working now? Let's delete this. I'm going to put another paragraph block in. I'm going to choose. I have to do this in a certain way because I think it'll break otherwise. And ACF. There we go. So now we've connected our default message. Now if I'm typing and nothing's editing. So at the very least, you can just have it show that really cool, like this is awesome, in my opinion. It's awesome. Now, keep in mind, this is super simple stuff, right? This is like paragraph block, image block, whatever, right? So I'd like to put a demo together of all this with maybe like some more advanced features, or maybe we can all, me, like Liam, Scott, and I, and whomever, maybe we can kind of build in public a little bit and put together some cool examples of how this would be connected. So, okay, so we've done that. Now this doesn't seem to be doing anything, and that's okay. So we need to figure out how to do that. So ACF, in a past stream, I did this using API fetch, which might be what I need to do. Right? Oh no, sorry, this is what I did. This is what I did. So I'm going to take this. I don't know if this is what I don't know if this is what I want, but we're going to see. So this is what I did in the past stream. So actually what this is a block that actually we were able to pull a meta piece in. I'd like context for bindings to provide what block type is coming from for the content. Oh, never mind. I saw it passes block instances, so hopefully that covers that. This doesn't standard expected content return type. Are you talking about in here? Because you can get anything out of the instance. So you can get the block ID. Like if I var dump this, for example, you can see what's in here. Like the block instance, there's a lot of stuff. Let me just show you what's in there. So I just do this. So we have the whole block. You get the block name, we got any metadata, we got, all this sort of stuff, right? There's tons of stuff going on in here. So anything that the block knows about. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, the get value call. Well, there is some stuff that gets passed into that. So I was messing around a lot with this yesterday. So the register, so I think this is kind of like a thunk, right? Where this is a registry that is basically the store that you're going to use, right? This is the registry of all stores that you have available to you. So we should be able to pass all of this stuff. So let's jump over here, open up my open up the old console. Ooh. Hit refresh. Oh, don't you start with me. Hit refresh. Hit refresh. So you see we've got, so okay, come on, slow down. We got still going. Stores. What else did I put in here? Oh yeah, sorry. And then we've got the post itself. So this is the context. So post ID, and that's the key that was passed, so, or the key. So you have a lot of information with your registry. So this is where you can like talk to other registries. You can call something from another store, like get meta from somewhere else and push it somewhere. Like there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do in here. Okay, so where was I? I was here. I'm going to steal this. I'm just going to steal this. And I'm going to see what I can do on the set value. So I'm going to just going to do that for now. All right. Okay, so this is the post ID. So the context is going to have post ID. So we need to get that. So post ID. So I'm going to say, sorry, where did that come from? That was this oh, context right here. So I can say const, yeah, do that, but I'll spell const the way that, you know, JavaScript wants me to. So I'll do post ID. So that's going to update that post ID. It's going to post to this. So then ACF meta. So we're going to need to get the ACF meta out of it, which we, for the so maybe for what I'm doing today, I don't need that. What I can do is args. It'll be basically this, right? It'll be that. So I'm gonna just override it directly, but I think we need to have a better way of doing this, because if we pass it this way, it's gonna override the whole object. So we'll see. I don't really know. We'll just see. We'll just see what happens here. Let's just see. Okay, so let's refresh this. And I don't know if this is gonna work, but oh, did I not refresh this? Something's not. Is this actually, okay, let me just do it then. Result. We'll do this, I'm just gonna console log results out of this and see what happens. All right, I don't, oops, I think I broke something there. Yeah, I need there, one of those. Okay, so let's just see what's going on. So I haven't done any debugging. I spent like a lot of my afternoon yesterday diving through pod stuff, so this is not like it's super easy in one and not so easy in the other. It's just so that's not even doing anything. Oh, hold on. This might be me. I don't think I set this to be validation, conditional logic. How do I, how do I set this to, okay, well, location rules, presentation. I want this to be, oh, it is in the REST API. Okay. Group settings. Yeah, you knew exactly where I was going with this. So showing the REST API, that should be good, right? This should be all good. So save changes. So this doesn't even seem to be getting called. Let me just compare what's going on here. So it's not even sending a request. That's the weird part. So set value. Like if I console log this should be getting called, but it doesn't seem to be getting called. Console log, setting value. Well, I don't know what that was putting in there, but we'll just see. Let's just see what we can do here. We'll get it figured out. So if I refresh this, it's definitely connecting to it, right? You can see that when I connect on this, I've got ACF, right? Console, I'm gonna just do this. It's not even, I don't think this has anything to do with it. I'm just going to turn the ACF tests off. All right, hit save. So that's ACF. This is pods. ACF string. Let me just double check that I'm not doing anything silly in here. So the source, content, pods, key, source. That looks right to me, right? I did connect this. Is there anything I'm missing in here? Yeah, well that's, so like it was weird because like, so for the pods binding, if I just take this off, I just don't think it does anything. So let me just, I'll refresh this. You know what, hold on. Okay, we're still building. All right, if I select this, what? That can't be right. I just, oh, you know what? Let me just rebuild this. I don't know what's going on here. I think it might have something to do with this, actually. This, I'm just going to return true. So this is the part of the show where you figure out whether or not the user can actually edit this thing or not. So, because, oh, okay, sorry. So this doesn't matter. This determines whether or not that works. That's what I think is going on here, because there we go. Okay, so that is the problem. Okay, so let me back up and explain this logic. I did not explain this very well. Okay, so block bindings, this works, or pods bindings, this works totally fine. But watch, if I take this out, so this is the set value. So whatever's running here is gonna be handling setting the meta somewhere, right? But I've just turned that off. So this is still gonna edit, right? Now, don't call me a liar. I'm pretty sure that these Ds aren't going to be there. They're not. So we can edit, but it's not saving. All right, so that's what's happening. That's what was happening here. So I need to look into this and see what we're doing here. So clearly, some of this stuff is not right. So you want to make sure that's right. We want to make sure that's right. So this is the part that I think we need to fix up. Because it's going to actually be closer to what we're doing in here, which is going to be, it'll be the acf.args.metakey, right? So I can just steal this. I think this is going to do it, right? Well, it is separate. You'd think that making it at the editable part would be separate to the update value method. It is though. Unless I'm not understanding what you're referring to, it is, because this makes it editable, right? Right, yeah, sorry, yeah, totally. So that makes it editable. So if this is true, then this will run. Whatever's in here will run. It will run away. All right, let's look and see what's going on down here. So we get this console.loggy. So I'm editing. Oh, there we go. API fetch not defined. Yeah, API fetch not defined. Right. Port API fetch. WordPress API fetch. Ryan. Okay, so let's clear this. Does this work? Oh, we need to debounce some things, I think, here. But let's refresh. Oh, didn't work. Okay, so let's see why. Let's see what's happening here. So first things first. It should be this response, right? Does this work? Okay, so this is sending a whole buttload of requests that it does not need to be sending. So where is is there an ACF? There should be an ACF object in here. Is there not? Maybe not. I don't see it anywhere. Okay. Oh wait, is that the response though? So the payload is here. Yeah, I love how you were in the middle of debouncing before I started. You're like, you might want. Oh Lord. Okay, so there's something that I just learned. I think it's called use debounce, and it's a hook, And I might not be able to use it in here because it's not a React component. I think it's in the compose package though. It's in the compose package and debounce. That's what I want. So I'm going to pull in a little debounce action, right? So it should be which package is this from? So use debounce. I'm not going to use debounce here. So this is from compose. So I'm going to just say import. It'll be debounce. Come on now. Debounce. Not from Lodash. It'll be from WordPress. I think it's compose. WordPress compose. And I think we can. I'm assuming const debounced. Debounce is going to be debounce. It'll pass that in there. And I'm assuming it takes one of these. I don't know. Oh, I broke something. What did I break? Oh, I need one of these. And one of those. There we go. And then I guess we're going to call debounced. God, it's been a while. I think that's what you do. Right? I think you do that. We'll see. So let's see what happens here. So it's not, it was making a call, but I just think I don't think it was calling in the right spot. Well, we'll see in a second here. Oh, wait a minute. It did work. Look at that. Oh. I maybe need to be more like a second. Let's try that. Right, but I turned the meta box off though. So the meta box, if the meta box is there, it'll override it. Oh, it does. Wait, does this work? So don't hit save as a test here. Okay, so if I refresh, didn't get my last. Okay, so there's some ugliness here that I have to fix up because this is, and then it's. All right, my debounce logic's a little weird, so this should have completed. So that does save it. So if I do this now, and I open up ACF, ACF, so it's being saved there. But you're saying now, if you're saying if I hit save, this will revert to something else? Is that what you mean? Oh, if I change it now, so if I go change it now. Oh, right. It would hit save to this value. It would go back to this value. But if this wasn't, okay, so here's a test. If I save this, and I refresh that, that's weird. Okay, so that does go back to there. But if I turn this off, and this I think is a known issue, not issue, but I think this is a known sort of experience here. Whatever, update now, right? If I refresh this, I should have update now in there. If it's saved, do I also get update now? Let's see. Saving it. Yeah. So if the meta box is closed, we're good, right? Yeah. That makes total sense. Yeah, the original ACF is happening. That totally makes sense. That's something that I've run into before where, which is why we're trying to move away from meta boxes a little bit, right? Because it's a much better experience to do it this way. Now, I think we should probably be doing this in a slightly different way. There is... So what would be really cool for both you guys, I think, is to create entities for your meta. I don't know if you've already done that. Right? Well, that's cool, but it's hard for our field types. Yeah, for sure. If you could create a way of entities, so I don't know if Pods does this, but I know that we can retrieve entities use entity prop for ACF, right? Because that's on the REST response, but we can't save it. I don't think we can save it. So that would be kind of neat to be able to just kind of pull that stuff in a little easier, because this is working, but I could probably do this in a better way, you know? I think I need to do this debounce slightly differently, maybe. But I don't know. What do I know? So that's one way of doing it. So then now we don't need this. Okay, so we've got it working-ish. So there are some things that I think we're going to run into problems with. I think this is going to be a problem because we need, what I can do is there a get entity? I think there's a get entity prop. Let me see if I can find that. Because what I'd like to see, so get entity prop, because we can't use hooks. Let's just see what's available to us. This is not in there. Where am I? Where I'm going with this in my brain is I keep trying to open up console. So if I go WP data, select, and what store is that from? I can't remember. What store is this from? This is from the... Which store am I pulling that from? Use entity prop, core data, right? It should be core data. So I should be able to say core data, right? Let's see what we got in here. I think it's just core. I think it's just core, actually. Is that it? I think that's what I need. So get entity record, get post types, get I'm looking for, what is the equivalent? So the use entity record, where is that? That is a hook. So use entity prop, right? If I can type it, I should have a use entity prop. What? No, what did they get out of here? I think it's in packages. Am I calling this thing wrong? What is the thing I'm looking for here? Use entity prop. Yeah, that's what I want. Use entity prop. I'm just gonna put that in Google, see what comes up. Core data. So we got add entity, so selectors. We got get entity. So that's the entity we want. We want a record though. We want the get entity record. I should retrieve everything. So let's use that. So what I want to do is I want to get the entity record so I can get the ACF fields. That's what I'm going after here. And so we go get entity record, and what does it need? It needs the type is going to be post type, right? And then the ID is going to be whatever this ID is. So 232. Is that gonna work? That can't be right. Get entity record. We got type, then the name, and then the key. Okay, duh. Because of course, where am I? What am I doing? Okay, so this is, sorry, we're getting there. Can you see that at all? Let me zoom that in. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I like to, when I'm messing with the store stuff, I like to get into the browser and do it because I don't know all the things are called and it's kind of annoying. So post, and then you're gonna go 2023, which is 2032, and then this should return that. Okay, so now, and then there we've got ACF, so that is wicked awesome. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this, and I'm gonna put it into my binding. In my binding, what I want to do is Okay, we're going to do it this way. So I'm going to do this. So I've got, do I have access to the registry in there? Let's see. I should have access to the registry. Not there. Not right in here. So, okay, registry. Oh yeah, there is a registry value. Okay, so the registry does come in there. So in the set value, I do have access to registry. So I should be able to call, I should be able to do this console.log and then registry.select, right? Core data store, which I think, oh, right here. So that's core data store, right? Select core data store. Then I want to call get entity record, right? Like that. And I should be able to get the post ID out of here. And I should also be able to get the post type from my context, right? And then I can put it in there. Because what I'm doing is I'm looking for a post type, a post type entity that is of the post type, whatever that is, and then this ID, and then I should be able to do that. So I think that should do that. So let's see. So when I'm trying to edit this thing, ooh, what am I doing? I'm gonna just clear this. I should be able to hit that. Okay. There we go. So that's what I want. So now I can pull ACF off of that. Right. So I can say, I can go const ACF from, will that work? I don't know if that'll work. But then I should be able to see what's in ACF, because at the end of the day, what I want to do is I want to be able to do this, right? I want to be able to, and there's probably not, there might even be an easier way of doing that, right? Oh, that's actually probably a good idea. Just do that. So then any other values that are stored in that object don't get overridden, because that's not what we want. I don't know if that shorthand is going to work with calling the registry. Yeah, it works. Okay. So now, you know, if I keep calling this, you can see that date test null doesn't get overwritten. If I didn't have that, if I got rid of that, I think what would happen is all my other ACF fields would be gone. Maybe not. That's weird. I feel like that should be the case. Oh, it's not saved. Save it? Because it's still pulling from the saved object. No, still doesn't work. Still didn't break. Weird. That doesn't seem right to me. All right, maybe we don't need to worry about it. Maybe there's some great logic inside the plugin that handles this. So maybe I guess I don't even need that, but this would be an example of like using the registry to retrieve other stuff that you need to work with later, right? So awesome. Well, I mean, we have this working. This probably needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but if there was a store that allowed us to do something like this would be so cool. Registry dot like dispatch. Nope. Dispatch. We'll call it whatever. I'm just gonna call it ACF right now, right? Like edit, update field, whatever. Like I don't know what you want to call this, but like, so it would be like whatever the key and the value. Oh, yeah, something like that. You know, post type or the post ID, maybe whatever, right? So that would be cool. That would make life a lot easier, because I think part of the store thing too is that like you don't necessarily want to be writing to the database every time, right? Like I think in both these cases, this I don't know actually what this. I think this sets a value in a store, but I don't know. Uh-oh, I have a visitor. Come in. Hi.
You want a popsicle?
You want a popsicle? Hey, say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Come over here. This is my son. He's home for the day. Say hi.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. Say.
How are you doing?
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, you can have a popsicle, okay?
Okay.
Cool. All right. Cool. So, yeah, I think, yeah. So anyways, what I was getting at is I think there's some nuances here, maybe. And guys, correct me if... yeah. Yes, my son is now your son. What was I going to say? Except for you, Kevin. You can't ever go near my children, you weirdo. No, just kidding. Oh, that's horrible. I didn't mean anything negative by that. Kevin! Yeah. This is how I feel about Kevin. Just kidding, Kevin. What I was getting at was I think there's some subtle nuance around updating the store.
You're famous.
I'm famous. Yeah, he said I'm famous. Now you're famous. Oh, I dropped it.
Oh, it's over there.
Okay, thanks, buddy. Get it. I need some scissors, though. Sorry, guys. Just 1 second. There you go. Get out of here.
I love you.
Oh, I love you. What I was getting at was when we're editing stuff from inside the block editor, right? Yeah, like when we make changes to things, like for example, I don't know, like when we do this, when we add a category, like we're not writing directly to the database, right? What we're writing to is like we're making the state of our block editor kind of dirty, and that's why this gets triggered to be saved. And I think what would be great is if you had the ability to, instead of writing directly to the database, you just made your changes in the store, and then the save thing actually runs behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Like when we're running things like so I have a million plugins in here that do writing to post meta. Let's see if I can find one here. Let's see if I can find one. Oh, who's that? Oh, Liam G, thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow. Good friend. Display meta. Let's see what this does. I don't even know if that's gonna work, but back in here, we got this display meta thing, right? Display. Is it, what the hell do they call it? Meta? Is it not working? Is the block not registered? I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Nice. I like it. I like it. That's awesome. What did I call this stupid block? Is it not even working? There's no build in there? There's a build. What the deuce? Display meta. What's the block called though? Block is going to be called display meta. So let's refresh this and look for my display. How's it? Oh, whatever. I can't find it. Doesn't matter. But you guys know what I'm talking about. Like if you had if you have a field over here that's updating meta, it's not actually updating the meta. It's just indicating that it needs to be updated, and then things go, right? Oh, what's that? Oh, we're doing bits. Oh, you guys are the best. He hired the kid and brings him in every stream to get follows. Yeah, his name is he's Sven. His name's Sven. He's from Germany. Oh, who's this? Ant Bis WordPressin. Ant PB is WordPressing late to the party. Well, welcome Ant P is WordPress. Ant PB is WordPressing. You work at ACF. Hey, nice. Well, welcome aboard. We're done. See ya. No, it's kidding. We're doing some fun things now. Please take. No, don't say bye. Hang out with us. All this stuff is kind of rough. Like this code is really rough. You're all welcome to play around with it. But let me just stress. I cannot stress this enough, and I wish I had a thing where I could like this, but said experimental. Right? Because in order for me to get any of this stuff working, I have to unlock private APIs. And we don't want to do that for production code. You all know that, but I have to say it. It's in my contract. No, I'm just kidding. But so that's what we're doing. So I'm unlocking it here, and I'm unlocking it somewhere else. There's another place that I'm unlocking it. I can't remember where it was. In here? Heavy names today. I mean, it's just like everybody's here, and it's fantastic. I'm unlocking there. Let's go Ant. And I can't remember where else I had to unlock to get this to work. Maybe it was in block bindings. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But that's what we have to do. Oh, we're having another visit.
I just got pissed in the garbage.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks for putting that in the
I love
garbage.
you.
Oh, I love you too. All right. He had to give me his garbage. anyways, awesome. Well, is there anything like I'm kind of out of stuff right now, but I really appreciate everyone hanging out today. I can't pay attention to the stream. Trying to get some, yeah. Well, he gets paid by the minute, by the minute on camera, right? So, yeah, I'd love to. I would absolutely love to. Would you guys both be open to maybe like jumping on a stream with me? Like the three of us can kind of get on and we can chat about stuff. We can kind of compare our approaches or whatever, and maybe I can bring somebody from the development team that's working on this stuff. Like I think that'd be fun, right? I think that'd be really cool. Even if we just hung out. You know, oh yeah. By the way, if you guys, you know, I have a Discord that you're welcome to join. In there, it's not super active. Kevin mostly answers the questions in there, but yeah, that's been great. But I mean, got another. I usually stop about noon my time, so about 15 minutes. So I'm happy to just chat with everybody, or. Yeah, well, I mean, that's why it's been dead, because Kevin's not been doing his job. I'm going to have to demote him. Just kidding. The LUP is the best. I had to add a few you folks to my special. I have a special announcement when you talk for the first time in stream, which I've never tried. Which maybe we can just test it. Hold on. No, you already talked. So anyways, whatever. We'll figure it out. But... yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else that we would want to do here. Yeah. Also, this code that I wrote to build this thing out, it's a bit janky, but it's a quick way to. Oh, I know what it was. I wanted to figure out a way to know what. This is what it was. Sources. Okay, so here's another thing that I wanted to show y'all. So sources. So there's a way of getting all of the block binding sources that have been registered. So that's the other thing that I had to unlock. So being able to register one with register block binding source is a private API that you have to unlock. And also there is a there is a get all block binding sources. So what this will allow you to do, let me just save this. I don't know what I'm doing here. Valid fields for a source. Well, let's see what's in the source. I can't quite remember. I have so many console logs. Let me just get rid of some console logs in here. Are there any in here? Where did that come from? Okay, whatever. So here are, so these are the ones that have been registered, right? So you can see ACF right here. So we've got, you know, the functions. It just basically tells us what's available, right? Which is really cool. So what something like this would allow me to do, I'd love to be able to list all the fields currently available. I feel like it would be useful for bits if they share a source API too. Oh, that's kind of neat. Yeah, I think it'd be cool to be able to see what's available. It would be cool if there was like a get, not a get value, but get like get available values, right? You know what I mean? Let's be able to change the value from there, like not like. So if you use a normal binding, sorry, throw new errors question is, so if you use a normal binding, you will still have to scroll down to the custom field and change the value from there, not like you are doing. Okay, no. Yes, right now, no in WordPress 6.6. So in 6.6, you can just, you can't do what I'm doing here. You can't choose your bindings via a UI. That's still coming. But what you can do is once you have 6.6 installed, or Gutenberg 18.5 will do it too. If it's regular post meta, this works. This is all built in, right? It only works for regular post meta. It doesn't work for custom bindings yet. Custom bindings you can define, but the back and forth talk doesn't work. Yeah. So yes. So basically, once I turn these things off, which I'll do right now, right? And then now I'm okay. This is I'm whatever. This is standard post meta, right? So once I turn this off, these I think are just going to go back to whatever the placeholder was that was inside of it. They might actually go be defaulting. Yeah. So we have pods placeholder, right? And then what's this? So there's no placeholder in there, and I don't know what happened to my other thing, but so you can see this does say that you're connected, but this is not editable. I'm typing and not editing at all, right? So if you use ACF, great. You can still connect them, right? So let me show you here. So I'm using right. So this is a bad example. Sorry, bear with. The reason it's a bad example is I need to have this placeholder in here. So this placeholder just doesn't do anything. Just indicates that there's actually a block here on the here, right? I'm gonna just make sure that this is off. I don't want to have anything confusing here, right? So if I refresh this, I've got pods placer. But when I look at it, you can see I've got this is the pods message and this is the default message. So this is the actual meta value that's being output. It's just in the block editor, we don't see anything in here, right? Does that make sense? There is a way to do it. There is a way to do it. Like if I have a default value, I should be able to like insert paragraph, right? And if I go like this and I go native and I go, oh, I did that. I do that every time. That's not an issue. That's an issue with my stupid code, not anything else. So this is the native string and I set this to native. That is the default value, right? So if there's a default value in there, you can do that. Now, if you don't want a default value, what you can actually do is you can set the placeholder value. So in like if, when you register a paragraph, you can actually set a placeholder property. I think it's this placeholder, right? My placeholder. I think you can do that. And then if I get rid of this now, you have the placeholder. So you can do that on the block attribute level, which when you're inserting this stuff, what you're gonna mostly be doing is kind of copying and pasting it in like that. Like you're gonna be adding these things directly to the paragraph, unless you build a little UI like I have, which is just for testing right now. But you're gonna just like basically copy and paste that in for regular binding stuff, right? So now we've got like two placeholders. Now these both are connected to the same meta. So this is, I don't know. I really don't know. I can't really speak to that, the timeline for that, because as everyone here knows, UIs are hard and UIs have to take a lot into consideration, and considering we've only got like a little bit of space on the side here. As you guys know, some of these meta things are really complicated, right? So you need more space. And so there's a lot of consideration there. I don't know, definitively one way or another what they are aiming for 6.7. I'd like to see some more blocks get bindings, right? Because this is very connected to patterns, like to synced patterns and override and sync pattern overrides, right? Has there been discussion? I don't know. I'm sure people have talked about it. I don't know what the right answer is, because making it wider is one thing, but then how does that work on mobile, right? Things like that. We did an alternative. Nick, Diego and I did an alternative to Metabox post stuff. Where do I have? Where did I do that? Did I do it in here? I can't remember. Where we did some alternatives to using meta boxes, right? So like one thing was having like a modal pop up. Like I have a presentations plugin that I'm working on where you can add speaker notes to a slide, and it pops up an entire modal with a block editor in it. So there are alternatives, right? So that we don't need to always use that sidebar. We can use that's the sidebar as a starting point to initiate going into a UI. We could do that, right? I think we need a UI for this kind of thing. So there are some very cool. Let me find that. I don't know where I put it. I gotta find it here. Dev hours? Is this it? Maybe this isn't it. No, it's not it. Oh, I'm not prepared for where I put that. Yeah, that's true. But if you were working on things like complicated meta, for example, like my advanced query loop plugin actually has got a. Let me open that up. I've got a branch that I'm working on that uses like one thing that's what am I doing here? What's this? Anyways. I don't remember where I put that code. I have to find it. It's kind of embarrassing. Wait, did I? Hold on, isn't it here? Let me just see. Just bear with me for a second here. Maybe I put it in Studio. Let's just see. Let's see, sorry. Okay, WP admin. So this is that presentation tool that I was talking about. So this is just something that I'm working on that is basically slides, right? And so if I grab a slide, I can open my speaker notes and it opens up this modal, right? And so you can imagine, like Kev, to your point, I wouldn't want to be editing content inside of this. I'd want to be like doing other things, but this is a really easy way of like I opened it from here, popped it up here, and I can do anything I want inside of this, right? Like it's a kind of a one way of doing it. But I wish I remember where I put that code. It's kind of embarrassing that I don't remember. Let's see if I can. Whatever. There are some cool examples of using alternatives. Like what I really love is this sort of stuff. This is really cool. And like what's the image block? Like being able to open up these sort of things and showing and hiding this. Like that's one way of really kind of like slowing things. Or you can put a lot of stuff into these. The stuff like if you want to look at the link or you can add more things. Like this is going to be stabilized. There's an effort to stabilize some of the experimental components that have been experimental forever, and the general consensus around them is that they have been released as experimental. People are using them as experimental, so we need to treat them like they are not. So there's some work around stabilizing some of these. And this one is probably my favorite. It's like the tab panel one. Yeah, 3 years experimental. So they're going to, it's like deprecation. Like, have we ever really deprecated anything in WordPress? like removed it? But this is a way that's really going to make it a lot easier, because for a lot of what we have now is we have these sort of fields, right? So like toggleable things. But if you can put something in there that then allows you to open up like multiple other pages, right? That would be super cool. Like I just, so that's a great way of sort of working with this. And then, couple that with slot fill, you can do a lot of things in there. Anyways, that's me on my soapbox about this. But there was a, let me go to that YouTube channel. YouTube, it's WordPress. All right, there was another developer hours that Nick and I did a little while ago on it. That this is going to start playing immediately. Stop. No, stop. 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 Oh, Lord. What is it? Alternative to custom meta boxes. I'd recommend having a look at this. Whether you agree with it or not is up to you, but that is a thing. So, oh, what's this? People can fit the meta box of reading content. Forcing to click more bad UX never force. Oh, here we go. Anyways, so that's something to take a look, and there are some examples in there. I mean, they're contrived, but they're alternatives. So, all right, cool, awesome. Sorry, am I missing stuff in chat? What is going on here? So used to the old meta under the post header that we think we're lost, like the new direction. How? Yeah, exactly. I mean, for what, like 15 years, all we had was meta boxes, like pre-Gutenberg. That's all we had. If you wanted to store in information that wasn't in a taxonomy, or you needed to store it in post meta, right? How else would you store it? Like secondary titles. Like secondary titles were a thing, right? And we didn't have the block paradigm to be able to allow us to control that information, right? It had to be part of the template, for first of all. So, when PHP was king. Now it's still king, but it's got a queen that's very outspoken. The content area was just the content area, and the template wraps all that up. So if you wanted to put something that wasn't in the content somewhere on the template, yeah, use meta. It's the only way to do it. So I think there's a lot of thinking about, do we need this to be meta? Does this need to be meta? If you're not querying, I've said this. Oh yeah, I speak from experience, because that's all we had. That's literally all we had. JS is the Kingslayer. Yeah, sure. That's all we had. I remember I used to when I was working at 10up, it was like we would add meta boxes everywhere. Like there were anywhere that we tried to add it. Like there's a hook in the classic editor experience where you could insert something underneath the title field. So we would put that in there, and that was for the subtitle, right? So we were already trying to emulate the front end experience. I don't mean like me, like we were awesome, but like, yeah, Scott and I worked at 10up together. He used to serenade us with his ukulele, which I would not be against you bringing if you come on a call with a thing. Anyways, but yeah, so like when we had blocks, we were able to we didn't necessarily need to store that in post meta, because we just needed something that wasn't in the template. And that's really what a lot of it came down to, was like, this needs to go somewhere else. How can I save it? So we had all this extra post meta that we didn't need. I mean, the way that I look at it, this is just me, is that unless you're querying against it, unless you're looking for posts that have subtitle, it doesn't need to be query. Does it need to be post meta? And I don't think it does for a lot of stuff. I mean, for the guys that the folks that are using ACF and pauses, there's clearly reasons why you're doing that, and connections and all of that stuff. But anyways, that's my 2 cents. So anyways, thanks so much for hanging. I'm gonna wrap it up, but before I do, I wanted to say thanks to Scott, thanks to Liam for hanging out today. That's huge. I'm so excited that y'all were able to jump in, and Ant as well. Thanks for coming and hanging out, Ant. You were late, but you raised the bar. As soon as you came in, I felt the stream just get a little bit better. And thanks to Kevin for being here and turning off my lights twice. I don't know if you guys have noticed that or not, but there's a channel, whatever they call, chat reward thing where you can turn off lights. I'm expecting someone to turn off the lights right now, but and yeah, and I don't know, maybe, and we should definitely do a follow up once I know a bit more. I'm gonna talk to my friends. Oh yes, I did limit it to twice. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna put a bunch of you into my new thing, so when you say something, it sarcastically announces you, which I'm excited to see on stream. But anyways, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing next week, but we'll see you all then. And thanks again for hanging out with me today. I feel like it's been a good stream. So, oh, there we go. Oh, I added fireworks to that. You see that? That was good. That was good. Okay. All right. I'll talk to you all later. Thanks again for hanging out with me, and I will see you all in the internet. You know. Bye.